I've recently been introduced to the idea that you can't be for protecting the culture if you date outside of your culture.
Ooh.
Damn, man.
Ooh, really? We going there?
Yeah.
Damn.
And no, it's not I never knew it existed. That's why I'm asking.
I've definitely heard
I never knew that way of thinking existed.
I've been hearing that for a long time.
Or actually, I'm sorry. I never knew it was that prevalent. I thought it was like just a small faction of people because every perspective exists in the world.
Yeah.
It's just a small amount of people. So, can you be for preserving the culture if you are entertaining other cultures?
Yes.
Emotionally.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you can. But I say that because it does come with some caveats.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. If your dating history has been predominantly other, then no, you're not for the culture because clearly you have a preference for other. So I can't say that you're for us if you don't have a history of mostly dating us.
But what if you're someone who's your environment you might be one of very few of your culture in a certain. But
same thing with Barack Obama. Barack Obama was raised around nothing but white people for 20, 30 years of his life, but he still ended up with.
Well, he ended up with a black woman, but that doesn't mean that
what I'm saying is that you can't always put the blame or the excuse on. Oh, I only grew up with these type of people, so these are the only people that I know how to date. Like, you can't do that because it's up to you to open up your mind and expand your knowledge, expand your way of thinking.
But what if someone says, I just happen to find these people individually attractive? Would you? Are you willing to go that? Hold on. And this is not my question.
But when you say I find them individually attractive, that means there is a quality about these non-black women or non-black men that you find attractive.
Right. Okay.
You can't say, I just happen to only date white women. It's not because I only want to date white women. It's because I find they have individually very interesting characteristics that I like about them. No, there's clearly a pattern.
The one constant is you, right?
There's only constant, exactly. Like, there's clearly a pattern.
Right.
Like, I'll even take it back from my own personal experience. I have a lot of uncles on my dad's side of the family. They all most of them were born and raised in Guyana. They came up to the United States, lived outside of Chicago in a very white suburb called Aurora. That's where I was born. Nothing but white people in Aurora at that time. Obviously, as the years went by, more black people started going to Aurora. All of them, but maybe 2, dated white women. Growing up, as the dark-skinned black girl in my family, it was always very off-putting to literally see them only date white women, but then they would catcall after sisters. So we would, me and my cousin Mimi, we'd be sitting on the porch, and Mimi is lighter skin, long hair. We'd be sitting on the porch, and literally we would see our uncle, our uncles see a sister walk past and, damn, look at that fatty. Let me holla at you. Then when a white woman comes by, oh, you are so beautiful. Can I get your name? And me, both of us sitting there, black women, one dark, one lighter. What does that do to your psyche? You're just like, okay, so do I need to look like them? Like, in order for us to get respect from men that, are supposed to be like our people? Like, it was just very weird. But then I had a couple of friends who did grow up in white communities who would force themselves to go outside of what they usually dated. I'm not going to name him because he probably will hear the podcast, but I have a friend who literally grew up around nothing but white people, and when he got to Northwestern, started to come out more in the black community and really tried to date black women. Unfortunately, he didn't get a lot of play from black women because black women kind of found him corny. Which is unfortunate. It happens. But he tried to step outside of what he was used to. So just going back to my initial point, if there is a pattern of you dating all white men or all white women, I don't know if I can say you're for the culture. Now, if you just happen to fall in love love with other person,
Right.
but you've had a history of dating, a bunch of different types of people,
Okay.
I can't get mad at you for that,
Okay, why does it matter? Like, honestly, so I'm gonna give you an example. So say you have like a prominent black man. He donates to these black charities. He's doing it big for black people, but he has a white wife. And it's just like...
You know why it matters?
Wait, give me 1 second, right? But then you have, let's say, like a black dude who dates a black woman, prominent, doesn't treat her right, steps out on her all the time, but because he's with a black female, it's like, oh, black love, that's cool. But it's like, at the end of the day, if you're gonna do something for the culture and you're gonna amass like a positive reaction, I really don't care who you lay down to bed with. You could be going out with a white person, you could be going out with the same sex, you could be asexual. If you are going to be that influential and get black people to be more positive or move in the right direction or do something, why do I care if you're with a white person or with a Hispanic person or with an Asian person? Why do I care what your dating history is like? Like, almost like a president thing. Like, some people, if you cheat on your wife, they'll be like, no, that's not presidential. Bro, if you are the best president that we've ever had, you a fuckboy, but you're still the best president we ever had. Like, I don't care what you did to your wife. Like, I don't care who you lay down with. You are still that influential. You're still doing something so good. At the end of the day, whatever. It's not that big of a deal. Not to me.
So can I
go ahead.
add my point? So there was 2 things I got out of that. One, and correct me if I'm wrong, you're basically saying that you can be a great person for whatever industry, whatever, groups of people that you're advocating for. If your personal life is messy, you don't care.
Not necessarily messy, but if you are a prominent black person and you're always preaching to black people this and that, but then you have like a white significant other, you shouldn't be like looked down upon. Like, who are you to preach like black love or black betterment or whatever, but you dealing with a white person? Like, okay, if they have kids, do you not consider their kids black? Like, so like, what is this all about? Like, where are you going with this? At the end of the day, they're still doing something very positive. We shouldn't shun them.
So what I'm gonna say to that is, in a perfect world, yes, I wouldn't care. But because we don't live in a perfect world, I have to care. Why? Because you cannot have all of these prominent black people of color, telling black people that we are for you, doing stuff for you, I am for you, but then you date or you predominantly date someone else. That is mixed messaging. What does that look like to the little girl, the little black girl, the little black boy that's growing up, seeing these prominent figures doing all these great things for black people, but then dating other? That, to me, that's kind of confusing. You're saying you can do all this stuff for black people, but you don't necessarily need to be with one. And let's not get it twisted. Who you date is political.
Yeah.
You may not think so, but it is very political. And prime example, if Barack Obama were to have married a white woman, I guarantee you Barack Obama would have never been president. Who he dated, and I'm not trying to say he picked Michelle Obama as a political choice. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is, if Barack Obama dated a white woman, if he was married to a white woman, most black people would have not voted for him. And I do not think he would have been president today. So you have to be careful with who you associate yourself with romantically. Of course, you don't want that to be the focus of your story, your life, but people do look at that. That's very important. Who you associate with romantically in platonic relationships, that matters. I can't go around saying that I'm using this as an extreme example. I can't be like, oh, I'm all for black people, I love black people, but then my best friend is someone who degrades black women.
Oh, that's
what sense does that make? You know what I'm saying? You have to be careful. Right. No, but in the sense it is the same, because you have to be careful with who you associate with. You literally cannot put out this message, but then put out something else that doesn't really seem to connect with what you're putting out.
But then, what say you about if you're married or dating someone who's white or another race, but they're very well active as you are, in their own right?
Okay.
But but they're still doing the same things for the same reasons, right? But they just have a different perspective, and because they're just not
Look,
black, right?
I'm not saying I'm not saying you cannot date outside of your race and be for the people. What I'm saying is be careful of the pattern that you put out there. Be careful of all the types of people that you're dating, because that stuff will come back to bite you. People will look in your past and be like, oh, so you dated all white women up until this point when you were running for governor. Right. Okay, cool. Oh, you dated all white men up until this point. Like what? You know what I'm saying? Like you just have to be conscious that everything that you have done in the past, every person that you've talked to, every person that you've dated, that may come back up in some way or form.
I agree with that. I'm just saying that if you happen to fall in love with someone of a different race, like say you were an advocate for black people, and say you just happen to fall in love with a Chinese dude, are you no longer a prominent advocate for black people?
Yeah, no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it's all in the pattern. If you have a pattern of dating other,
okay, so
that's
okay.
Because going back to your Barack Obama point, the pattern wouldn't even matter, because who he end up with. If he end up with a white woman, you say he could have been dating all black women, and that's his pattern.
Yeah.
He end up with a white woman. That's that.
But I'm saying on a larger scale, because Barack Obama is just one person that ran for president. I'm talking about majority of people. If the majority of people happen to fall in that pattern of, okay, this is mostly who I'm dating, if this is mostly who I'm dating, and then I'm dating something else, people are going to have a particular perception about that person. Not everyone's running for president. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to put everyone in that basket.
So I guess the answer is that this is not a individual decision, but a decision that has a larger scale at stake.
Yeah, because I mean, obviously, in a perfect world, I wouldn't want it to matter, but we don't live in that world. People do draw conclusions based on who you associate yourself with, and that's just facts.
Adds to the complexity of being black. Only we have to think about this shit.
Other people don't have to think about this stuff, right? No white person's like in this room talking about this shit. Like,
and
they don't have to.
They can fucking move in whatever spheres they want to move in, and
like God forbid a black man date a white woman, then oh my God, he don't like the sisters. And if a black girl dates a white dude, she's a bedwench. It's just like, my God, like we don't have the freedom to do anything. Like shit.
And just piggybacking off of that, have you all dated outside of your race?
Yes.
I have, and
what was your experience?
I'm actually still struggling with that, that feeling, that, man, because I want to be a voice for my people, I want to be this positive voice. And then I struggle because love is so key for me, and am I shutting doors to that, making it harder to find love? I of course I want black love, I love black women, and I want to make it seem heterosexual, I love black people, but I'm like, fuck, you get to a certain, not level, but a different kind of environment, and then you're surrounded by, other people, and then people that come to you, you like people who like you. So how do I fucking navigate that? I'm still unsure on that.
I think you're thinking about it way too much. Like you like, exactly, you said it. You like who likes you. And if that happens to be a black woman and she treats you well and she makes you happy, awesome. And if she's not, you should not fight that, because you think the world will look down on you.
Yeah, like
you can't live your life for anybody else.
Like my sister is saying, it's not perfect. This world's not perfect, and there's sacrifices that black people have to do when other races don't. Yeah. So, I always think largely and about the whole race and how can we move forward. And I think about my actions, is it a negative to that movement? So, I can't simply just say, fuck it, I'm happy, you know, I'm in love, you know. I just can't. That's just not me. That's a personal thing. I can't. But I mean, it doesn't mean that I don't date outside my race. I do. I'm open. I'm open to dating anybody, you know.
Right.
So.
No, I haven't. I've never dated.
I'm shocked. I'm shocked. I just knew. Okay.
And then I subscribe to the same way of thinking that Mark has as well. And as is well documented, I've made some questionable decisions even in my own community. So, so I'll just leave it there.
Elaborate, Marlon.
We'll elaborate on a different podcast.
I'm gonna get him some drinks and then elaborate.
This will be the Valentine's Day episode. It was
Nice.
like all of Marlon's questionable decisions.
Lord, boy, you out here.
No, you know what? Thank you guys. That's my cue. Last question. One word. Being a black millennial, blessing or curse?
Oh, blessing.
Blessing or curse?
Oh,
Blessing.
Blessing. Or curse? Blessing.
Bro, you know, blessing.